What's up everyone, and welcome back to another What If video. This time, we're going to cover something that I haven't covered in a while, but a lot of you wanted me to continue. It's been a while since I touched this one, but it's surprisingly actually one of my most popular What Ifs so far, judging by the views on part 1. Last time, we left off with the early arrival of Cell, already in his perfect form. The Cell games have already been planned much earlier on in the arc than normal, since Cell is perfect already and he wants a challenge. Alongside this, Kami asked our heroes to come to the lookout, and the humans at Dr. Gero's lab take Android 16's pod because of Krillin's thinking, and they head back to Capsule Corp. Now let's continue the story with part 3 of What If Frieza Killed Gohan on Namek. We left off with Vegeta and Trunks going to the time chamber to train, and Kami merging with Piccolo. In this timeline, remember, Kami is much younger than normal since there was an extra wish that wasn't claimed, allowing him to restore his youth like King Piccolo. He saw it would be better if the God of Earth was young instead of old and not very powerful. He's a lot stronger now than before, so this Namekian fusion will yield a lot better results. Piccolo and Kami merge into one being, and the results are apparent right away. Piccolo's power is insane, and is nothing like anyone has ever sensed before. The original fusion made him strong, but this one is way stronger. With this fusion, he's nearly as powerful as Super Vegeta when he makes his inevitable appearance. His power is massive because of this fusion, and it's comparable to Super Vegeta or Semi-Perfect Cell in the original story, but he has more power than either of them this time. This is great because of how strong he is, but one issue is that Cell is perfect now, so even though this fusion did give him a huge boost, he's actually kinda underwhelmed by it. But once the Saiyans are done in the time chamber, he could train himself with this new power and become stronger than ever. Vegeta and Trunks emerge from the chamber, and they don't really have anything to do at this point since they're no match for Cell, so they don't go off to fight him. They just spend their time outside of the chamber training in the gravity room instead. Goku wakes up, and he and Gohan head into the time chamber, and they actually see different results from the main timeline. Gohan is already a Super Saiyan, and is much more motivated to train here than he was originally. This allows them to get a head start, and they're actually easily able to go further beyond Super Saiyan up to grade 4 and perfect the form only in a few months rather than taking the whole year. Given that they've perfected this form and can use it efficiently with little stamina loss, they decide to crank up the power, literally. Both of them know the Kaioken, and since they can use Super Saiyan as easily as their base form now, they experiment a bit and try to further master Kaioken and eventually combine it into Super Saiyan to create Super Kaioken. With Kaioken alone, they can only do about 40 times with some strain, but it's kinda useless to them since Super Saiyan with Kaioken is much more powerful and efficient. Even Super Saiyan alone is more powerful than just Kaioken. When they use Super Kaioken, however, the multiplier is much lower because even though they've mastered Super Saiyan, it causes immense strain on the body using these two techniques together, so it's not like they're going to be going Super Saiyan Kaioken times 40. Remember when Goku went Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 and he could barely manage that? It's kind of like that here, where they can go times 10, but it's very risky for them, so they're sticking to very low multipliers for now. They end up having a lot more time in the time chamber to train because of how efficient their previous training was, and Goku's confident that they're more than powerful enough to defeat Cell now, so he decides to work on teaching Gohan some interesting techniques instead, rather than focusing on furthering their power because they see it as high enough already. The two exit the time chamber much more powerful than they were in canon. They're both about 1.5 times as strong as they were originally, and that's without Kaioken. With Kaioken, they pretty much feel unstoppable. Vegeta is furious and heads back to the time chamber quickly with Trunks to try and master Super Saiyan himself, much to Piccolo's anger since this means he has to wait longer. Vegeta and Trunks are actually able to master Super Saiyan and come out of the time chamber a day later, and Piccolo finally gets to head in and train, but he doesn't have a training partner. Tien actually offers to go in with him since Tien's one of the stronger humans at this point, and is the most skilled with Kaioken when compared to the other humans. Since Piccolo is so much stronger, Tien has to train with Kaioken a lot to keep up. This training allows Tien to actually master Kaioken times 10, and being able to push it up to times 20 and even times 40 for very brief periods. This is great for Piccolo because he has a strong training partner, and this means he can get a lot stronger than if he were just in there alone. This also means Tien gets stronger, obviously. By the time they leave the time chamber, I would place Piccolo just under how powerful Goku was with Super Saiyan Grade 4 in canon. Not as strong, but weaker. And if Tien were able to go Kaioken times 40 and use the Tri-Beam, he'd be insanely powerful, but realistically he'd only be using times 20, so He's going to be somewhere below where Piccolo is now, and above where Semi-Perfect Cell was. And remember, I'm comparing Piccolo to the Super Saiyan Grade 4 Goku in canon, not the one in this story who's way more powerful. The fact that Piccolo and Tien, some of the side characters, are more powerful in this timeline just shows that everyone here is way more powerful than normal, and combined they heavily outmatch Cell without them even knowing it. And at this time, of course, Dende is also recruited like normal as Earth's new guardian. Needless to say, they're pretty confident about fighting Cell, and as much as I'd hate to say it, it's a pretty anticlimactic fight. What happens here is, well, first Goku fights Cell and it's pretty one-sided. They're even at Goku's Super Saiyan level, but if he uses any level of Kaioken, Cell just becomes fodder. He wants to let Gohan have a turn, so he ends the fight and even gives Cell a Senzu. Cell is basically a training dummy for them. Cell realizes this and gets insanely angry, and is being dominated by Super Saiyan Gohan. Gohan is about to finish him off when suddenly, Cell inflates and prepares to explode. Oh no. Goku regrets toying around with him, but Gohan has an idea, and he thinks quick. And this is where their extra training in the time chamber to learn techniques comes into play. Gohan ends up showing off another technique that surprises everyone except for Goku. He grabs onto Cell and then he disappears. Whoa, wait. Sal, did you say that Gohan has instant transmission? Well, yeah. Remember I said they had a lot of extra time in the time chamber and Goku taught him techniques? Well, this was one that he taught Gohan. Why would he teach him this and how? Well, after what happened on Namek, Goku wanted to teach this to Gohan if he was ever in a deadly situation like when he was with Frieza, so that he can escape. No one has ever asked Goku to teach them this technique before, but Gohan actually asked him to teach it this time. And considering they're already strong enough due to their training, Goku decided to teach Gohan how to use this. And while Goku was on Yardrat for a year, we don't know how long it actually took him to learn it, and even if it took months on end, they still had more than enough time in the time chamber to practice this, at least half a year. So yeah, Gohan actually knows this technique now. He teleports Cell to King Kai, and quickly apologizes as he grabs King Kai, Bubbles, and Gregory, and teleports back to Earth. King Kai is mad about the loss of his planet, but he calms down realizing that it's better than Cell killing everyone on Earth, and even though he doesn't know it, he has it a lot better this time considering he doesn't die. But we all know how this goes. A beam then hits Trunks to the chest, killing him instantly, with Super Perfect Cell using his own instant transmission to come back to Earth. Vegeta is furious and attacks Cell, with Cell just knocking him to the side in anger. Cell is confident with his new power, but is enraged that Goku and Gohan didn't take him seriously, and charges towards Gohan. Super Saiyan isn't enough anymore. Gohan powers up to Kaioken and keeps raising his power even higher. Cell is raising his power too, and he sees Gohan using Kaioken, and then realizes something as Gohan increases his power. Alright, you want to use the Kaioken? Well, why don't we even the playing field? He attempts to activate Kaioken, and it works. He knows every technique Goku does and was able to pick up instant transmission, and I mean if he's able to do that, then I'm sure he could do Kaioken. And now things start looking bad. Cell is actually getting an advantage over Gohan. His Kaioken alongside with his super perfect form create a deadly power that allows him to begin to overwhelm Gohan. Much to everyone's surprise, he's actually able to knock Gohan down, and this prompts Goku to jump in alongside with Piccolo and Tien. Gohan was their strongest fighter, and this trio is temporarily able to hold Cell off, with Goku using Super Kaioken as well, and Tien using his own Kaioken. Cell just power-ups further by exploiting Zenkais with his faster regeneration, and is able to knock down Tien and Piccolo, leaving only Goku who is wearing out. Cell is getting cockier and enjoying himself, and begins to brutally beat down Goku like he wanted, not even noticing that Kaioken is actually kind of draining him. This beatdown is reminiscent of Goku's fight with Piccolo Jr., just because of how brutal it is when he's beating Goku down. But out of nowhere, a loud scream is heard as Gohan rushes in and his power soars. He joins in the fight and together, he and Goku overwhelm Cell and quickly charge up a Kamehameha together, with Cell launching his own. Cell actually tries to push his Kaioken even higher, and it's kind of a suicide move because it ends up draining his stamina insanely quickly and injuring him, but it amplifies the power of his Kamehameha greatly. They're about even, but Gohan gets even more enraged during the struggle as they begin to lose, and suddenly, his power skyrockets as he lets out another roar as his hair spikes up, and sparks begin to appear around him. For a very brief moment, Gohan unknowingly goes Super Saiyan 2, on top of Kaioken, with Goku looking over in surprise. This allows the father-son Kamehameha to incinerate Cell pretty easily, and for good, with the duo dropping back into base, obviously exhausted from this. Goku looks over to Gohan in a state of shock. "Gohan, That power! What was it? Gohan, of course, has no answer. The defeat of Cell is celebrated, and the arc ends a lot like normal, except Goku is alive this time, and King Kai, Bubbles, and Gregory are temporarily on Earth, with King Kai being introduced to Dende actually because they're all part of the realm of gods, and Dende is kinda a new co-worker with him in a way. And the androids are revived like normal, with 16 still being alive, even though he wasn't present in the fight against Cell and getting killed. Huge change here with the androids. They've never actually encountered our heroes because they were absorbed by Cell right away. And that means Krillin never meets 18, and he doesn't remove the bombs from them with the extra wish. Instead, the extra wish is used by King Kai to bring his planet back, so everything's kinda back to normal for him. But one question here remains. What was that power Gohan showed off briefly? It was way higher than Super Saiyan, and the power boost wasn't due to Kaioken since Gohan somehow already stacked that power on it. Goku and Gohan now have this new goal to achieve, which is to pursue whatever power Gohan just displayed that's beyond Super Saiyan. For all they know, if he didn't teach Gohan instant transmission, he could have accessed this new power in the time chamber instead. And this is where we're going to end it for now. What do you guys think will happen in the next part? How will this all affect the Buu Saga? Comment your thoughts below and I'll consider all of them for the next part. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications of future parts of this What If, or any other videos of mine. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.